So, have you ever felt just completely stuck? Like, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you just can't find the energy to actually do it. So you go looking for that spark, right? That little jolt of motivation. But what if I told you that spark is actually the very thing holding you back? Okay, so let's meet Alex. Alex has these huge ambitions, big dreams, but tonight is like a lot of nights. They just feel trapped. And that glow you see on their face, yeah, that's not some burst of inspiration. It's the blue light of a screen, reflecting total exhaustion and frustration. So what does Alex do? I mean, what do most of us do in that situation? We scroll. We just keep scrolling, hunting for that one video, that one perfect quote, that magic piece of advice that's going to finally kick us into gear. We've all been there.
But here's the reality check. After hours of research, the projects are still sitting there, untouched. That to-do list hasn't gotten any shorter. The only thing that's changed is the time. It's 2 a.m., and now Alex feels even worse than when they started. This is the story of why that keeps happening.
All right, let's dive into Chapter 1, the motivation trap. It looks so promising, so shiny, but for so many of us, it's really just a dead end.
And you know what? It's not an accident we get caught in this loop. The writer Mark Manson talks about this. The self-help industry is a massive, multi-billion-dollar machine. And what does it run on? It basically capitalizes on our insecurities, on our self-consciousness. It's perfectly designed to sell us the feeling of making progress, without us having to do the actual, progress.
So in this arena, it's like a classic choose-your-fighter situation. In this corner, we've got motivation. It's flashy, it's exciting, it's that huge burst of energy that gets you off the couch. And in the other corner, discipline. It's the quiet one, the steady force that just shows up every single day, no matter what. And who does Alex bet on? Well, like most of us, they put all their chips on motivation. They start binge-watching all these creators, you know the ones, promising the secret productivity hacks and the routines that will change your life, all in the search for that next emotional high, that next shot of inspiration. Okay, on to Chapter 2, when the spark fades. Because, let's be real, that high never, ever lasts. And this is where it all starts to fall apart. So here's something really interesting about self-help advice. It lands in two totally different ways depending on where you're starting from. If you're already feeling pretty good, it's awesome. It feels empowering. Mark Manson calls this the okay to great mindset. You're just seeing cool new tools you can add to your toolbox. But for Alex, who's starting from that place of feeling completely stuck, this is what it feels like. Manson calls it the bad to okay trap. That advice doesn't feel empowering at all. It just becomes another giant list of all the things you're failing at, which just reinforces that deep, sinking feeling of shame and failure. And there it is. That's the fatal flaw in the whole plan. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings, they change. The inspirational high wears off, and Alex is left with this crushing realization. Their entire strategy for success was built on something as unreliable as the weather. But it's right here, at this low point, that Alex discovers the alternative. See, it's not about finding a bigger, better spark. It's about learning how to keep the fire going without one. Welcome to Chapter 3, the quiet power of discipline. I mean, you see this everywhere, right? From Reddit threads to posts on Lemonade, people will tell you again and again, discipline has nothing to do with being in the mood. It's not a feeling, it's a conscious choice. It's simply about showing up, especially on the days you really, really don't feel like it. The former Navy SEAL Jocko Willink has this amazing quote that just nails it. Discipline equals freedom. See, we think of discipline as this rigid, punishing thing, but it's the total opposite. It's the key that lets you escape the prison of your own moods, your own procrastination, your own laziness. Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? I mean, we live in a world that is basically a distraction factory. Well, Alex learns that it has almost nothing to do with willpower. And that brings us to Chapter 4, Designing Your World. And this right here, this is the huge aha moment. The problem isn't that Alex lacks self-control. The problem is the environment, the battlefield itself. Because when you pit your willpower against your environment, the environment wins, pretty much every single time. There's actually a name for this. It's called the default effect. We are biologically wired to follow the path of least resistance. It's just easier. I mean, look at organ donation rates. In countries where you have to actively sign up, opt in, the rates are super low. But in countries where you're automatically a donor unless you opt out, the rates are through the roof. The lesson is simple. Make the right choice the easiest choice.
So Alex gets to work, but not by trying to force themselves to become some super disciplined new person. Nope, they just start redesigning their world. The goal is simple: make bad habits harder and good habits easier. So, distracting apps get buried in a folder. Website blockers go on during focus time, and all those non-essential notifications, poof, silenced. Okay, so the environment is redesigned. Now Alex is ready for the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, Chapter 5, the freedom of systems. The idea here is to stop having to make good choices all the time and instead build systems that make the right choices for you automatically. I mean, this is the end game, right? To get to a point where you're not relying on willpower or even discipline or motivation. You just have these automated systems, which, by the way, we usually call habits, that just carry you towards your goals on autopilot. And one of the most powerful systems you can build is the 1% rule, which was made famous in the book Atomic Habits. The idea is so simple. Don't try to change your entire life overnight. Just focus on getting 1% better each day. It doesn't sound like much, but those tiny gains compound, like interest in a bank account. And by the end of the year, you are looking at massive, massive change.
So Alex starts building these systems using really simple, actionable rules. Like, if a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. Don't even think about it. If you're procrastinating, tell yourself you'll just work on it for 5 minutes. That's it. Or eat the frog, tackle your hardest task first thing in the morning. See? These aren't some grand, complicated strategies. They're tiny little levers that create unstoppable momentum.
And that's the whole journey. Alex stopped chasing a feeling and started building a foundation. Look, motivation is great for starting the fire, no doubt about it. But systems? Systems are the logs that keep it burning, long after the initial spark is gone. So the only real question left is, what system are you going to build?